Hi, I'm Ross. Welcome to the next video of Money in Life with Ross Jenkins. Today we're going to talk about what happened in the UK budget. So let's look into this now. So today I'm going to talk about the UK budget and summarise what's happened. So there's quite a few changes to the UK budget this year related to income tax bans, savings tax, dividends tax and also cash ISAs. So today I will delve into what all these changes mean for you. So let's start with the thing that impacts everybody, which is income tax thresholds. So in the budget, they announced that tax thresholds will stay the same again until 2031. This is known as stealth tax. So this means that although your pay will go up each year, that the tax you pay will likely go up as well, because the tax bands where you start paying tax at different levels will stay exactly the same while your pay is increasing. So let's look at what these changes are. So someone earning 30,000 a year will pay slightly more tax than before. Someone earning over £50,000 a year going into the next tax bracket will pay a lot higher charge, and somebody in the additional rate bracket will pay even more. So even though you think actually tax thresholds have stayed the same, so there's no change or no impact on me, there is a change because the tax you're going to pay is going to be higher. So even though it looks like nothing's changed because all that's happened is the tax thresholds are staying the same, your take-home pay will be less each year. So let's look at the next category, which is savings. If you've got savings, this is going to be relevant for you. So from April 2027, there's going to be a 2 percentage point increase on the tax you pay on your savings if you pay a tax on your savings. So let's look at what this means for each level. So a basic rate taxpayer already gets £1,000 free allowance of interest they can earn per year. But if they do have to pay tax, the tax is going to go up from 20% to 22%. A higher ranked taxpayer gets a £500 allowance and their tax rate is going to increase to 42% from 40%. If you're an additional rate taxpayer, then you get 0% allowance and your tax rate is going to increase to 47% from 45%. So if you earn interest over your allowance, then you're going to pay higher tax moving forward. And this is even more relevant for the cash ISA changes because it means more people will fall into this category. So these tax rates are the same for property income. So they've got announced as well from April 2027 that property tax will have its own tax bands and these will be exactly the same as savings tax rates with the 2 percentage points increase. So for dividends, there's also an increase, but these changes will come in from April 2026, not April 2027, like the property and savings rates. These two will increase by 2 percentage points, but in this category, everybody gets a £500 dividend allowance. So basic rate taxpayers will pay 10.75%, up from 8.75%. Higher rate will pay 35.75%, up from 33.75%. Additional rate taxpayers will not have an increase, they will stay at 39.35%. So if you receive dividends above the £500 allowance, be prepared to pay more tax. Right, let's look at the cash ISA changes. So it was announced in the budget that the cash ISA limits will drop to £12,000 from £20,000. That means you will have £8,000 less that you can invest per year into a cash ISA. This is for anybody under the age of 65. To make it clear, this is only on a cash ISA. Stocks and shares ISA, you can still invest £20,000. So the reason the government has done this is because they want more people investing into the UK stock market to help bring up the price of UK companies. In my next video, I will delve into investing and what stocks and shares ISA is, so please hit subscribe now and get ready for my next video, where I can explain this in more detail. So the last change I want to mention is the salary sacrifice if you do this through a pension. So this means for someone paying 5% pension, if they earn over £40,000 a year, they're going to end up paying national insurance above those limits, which means their take-home pay is going to be less. But as highlighted in the government, not very many people operate in a salary sacrifice scheme, so this is not relevant for most people. So let's look at who's the winners and losers of this budget. Unfortunately, there's not very many winners. We're all going to have to pay a bit extra towards the government to help them balance their books. So the losers is basically everybody. Everybody's going to have to pay more tax through their take-home pay and also through their savings, dividends, property income, and they can't invest as much into a cash ISA. So what should you do next? The first thing I would do is look at my payslip for my tax code. You can then log into the HMRC and see what makes up your tax code and make sure that everything on there is correct so you're not overpaying your tax. I then review my savings, where I'm putting all my savings and whether I'm paying tax already, and whether I can then claim this back because I have my allowance that will cover this per year. And the next thing I would do is look into investing, which I will discuss in my next video, because cash ISAs aren't generally the best way to save money in the first place. So in the next video, I'll talk you through all the steps you need to take and the potential returns that you can make on a stocks and shares ISA. So hit subscribe for more money and life advice from Ross Jenkins. See you next time. Thanks. Bye.